To y'all, the dream state might be the key to this reality. Let's get into it real quick. I find that one of the weirdest things about this reality is that in being conscious is that we share it collectively. Like we are sharing experience. So on a micro level, it seems as if we are having an individual experience, but on a macro level, it becomes collective when you add all of our experience and consciousness up together. Therefore, whatever we decide, like as a collective, pretty much decides how our reality is going to lay out here and now. Like, if humanity were to wake up to the fact that this experience in this reality is actually a dream, then they would wake up to the fact that whatever they want to be real in the dream, or whatever they choose to be real, will be real. So for instance, if you found yourself in a dream and you were lucid and money existed and people were working very, very hard for money, like almost, just enduring excess suffering just behind money on a multidimensional level, you yourself in that dream would be able to decide if money was like not even real anymore. Like you'd be like, nah, like this is how the dream's changing. We're all on a beach, like, cause I'm lucid, let's just end this. But the difference between a dream and our walking dream reality is that in a dream, I project myself from my own consciousness, and then I project subjects and buildings in a world around me. And not only that, but I project other people in my dream. These other people aren't really other people. They are projections of me. Even when they speak, I am making them speak somehow in my consciousness. But in the objective dream experience that we are sharing now, it seems as if we are really having our own experiences. Like my mom is really my mom, like I just called her. So it really seems like we're separate. And to me, that's the most confusing part of this reality. And it draws me to a conclusion that there is no real line in between reality and a dream. In between what we are making real as a collective and a dream. So in society, I, by myself, couldn't just say money doesn't exist, so it disappears. Like, to me, this is the most tripped out part. We would have to decide as a collective that money is fake in order for it to be fake, in order for it to not exist. We would have to decide as a collective that the government does not exist. We would have to decide as a collective that celebrities do not exist, so high as idols in our mind. We would have to decide as a collective that the idea of God that we've had before in the past does not exist. And if we actually got together and decided that, then it would be so. So it would be. There's no way you could go against that. So it seems as if we are needing and depending on each other to make the dream that we're both having real. And I think a lot of people get confused in life because of simultaneous realities. Let me give you an example. The fact that a dream is a projection or an illusion doesn't make it any less real while you were in the dream. Like, everything within the dream is real. Like, it's only until you realize that it is a dream that you can transcend and be like, nah, this is not a dream. So there's a reality may very well be fragmented, but it's paradoxical because it's real, but it's not real at the same time. This is why you should look at life as a dream, and dream state awakening is powerful. It's real, but it's not real at the same time. That would be like saying depression isn't real, or some person's psychological, endeavors are not real. But it's very real to the person experiencing it. Like, depression is real. Like, if somebody is suffering in life, even on a psychological level, it's still real. So this is what is confusing people more than anything, I believe. It's deciding what's real. Like, this is what we argue about, even in case of God. As a collective, we argue about what's real and what's not real. On one hand, you have believers. On one hand, you have scientists who say if there's no proof, then, it's not real. So is it as if forces are trying to sway the collective into what is real and what is not real. I'm trying to explain how we as individuals cannot do it alone, but our individual efforts and then coming together as a collective can change the dream experience that we are having now. Because if you found yourself in a dream and you knew you couldn't escape the dream, but you found out some very evil things were going on in the dream, you found out that there was excess suffering in the dream, that this dream wasn't the experience that you had been told you would experience your entire life, then you wouldn't find yourself in the dream. Only a fool would find themselves in the dream complaining instead of trying to figure out what is happening. It's very hard for the human mind to comprehend simultaneous realities where things can be real and not real. Like, on a psychological level, we all make money real. If we make something real in this realm, we become agents of this thing. Like, you become an agent or a representative of it as you use it, as you make it more real. So if we decided today, hey, everything that, if we decided to actually observe how we're being treated as individual fragments of awareness and as awareness as a collective, then you would begin to decide how your life force energy as an individual has been manipulated by yourself and by society and by the world, and how we've all been manipulated as a collective, resulting in freeing our life force energy, resulting in a better experience. See, I really think it's like their whole mission to not let anyone know, like, not let anyone find out that this is actually a dream. Like, it's basically real which is it must be real is the what must be real is the highest version of yourself realizing this as an illusion. It goes from real to fake, it seems, which is the world, to faker, which is society. So these are all really sub-illusions of higher illusions. And if we would realize that as a collective, we're all dreaming. We're all hallucinating. And that whatever we want to make real as a collective is real in this fake world. That is just a little bit faker than the next thing that we think is real. And then you have society, which is the fakest. So you see, there's no real line drawn in between a dream and what we make real as a collective. You said money. Money's the most imaginary thing in the world. Literally, it is a piece of paper that people have tormented themselves behind, people have suffered behind. Why? Because there is no real line that is doing us any good as humanity that has been drawn to tell us what's real and what's not real. Where do you draw the line in between what you perceive as real and what's not real? And I'll tell you something, if you go and bump your leg, like hit your knee as hard as you can, those are the worst pains. You're not gonna look at somebody and be like, oh, that's not real. You know, you're just like all that illusion, you know, like higher, like life is about love and all of this is an illusion, including your suffering. All that shit works until you go smash your knee or until you stub your big toe. I'm saying some painful things. So you see, it is as if this dream is set up as suffering is what's making things real. Like suffering is the thing that makes things really real. Like it is actually backwards. Suffering is what is making things real, but we lie to ourselves about that. Like you can live in La La Land until, you know, you get to the wrong part of town and you get surrounded or some shit. Like you really thought, you know, life was good. Like we are living in so many blurred lines of reality anyways. So why not call it a dream? If you've examined life very closely, like I have, then you would see that life, like rationally, that you have to look around you and say, what is life, what does this feel like? Like what's really happening? Like take a look around you. And I've come to my senses and realized that it's a dream. And the weirdest part about it is that since there seems to be a collective shared experience in this dream, I do not have as much control over this reality as I would like to have. Because if I did, I would end multidimensional slavery. I would find alternate ways for the broadening of consciousness to expand other than suffering. If I was king of this reality, I wouldn't end natural suffering. I wouldn't end the fact that a lion has to kill a zebra. I wouldn't end the fact that I could die, or or be unalived, and anybody in my family could be unalived. I wouldn't get rid of natural suffering, because we are born and built to deal with natural suffering, because we live in the moment mostly. Because you cannot escape the moment mostly. There's a deep awareness that you have that consciousness cannot escape itself. But I would end excess suffering and multidimensional slavery that other beings have achieved in this realm through psychological domestication and low vibrational manipulation of their own life force energy. But you see, the problem seems to be that we share consciousness as a collective. Like, you realize that some things are not real. You do realize that. But you are in a dream where everybody around you thinks that it's real. Everybody around you thinks that life's a blessing. Like, it's not anything that you have to figure out here, because if you are having a good time in your dream, there's absolutely zero reason to wake up. This is how the dream is set up. You'll go on like that forever. If they offer you a ticket back into this realm, you'll be like, yeah. Even people who have suffered intensely would, if you did not figure out what was really going on, you'd come back. The funny thing about consciousness is that it can get so damn attached. And if humanity woke up and seen that what Biggie said, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt-N-Pepa and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every day, Mr. Magic Melly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed on Office Dock, sipping on bamboo. Back when I had the red back lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping the high, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade. Come on now. Like, why do you think that song entered the collective consciousness? Like, what's the most catchy part about this song? It's the first 5 words. Come on, Biggie. So, you have to ask yourself, what is this? Like, what is making this thing real? And since all the teachers in the world are telling you that this is just an illusion, including your suffering is just an illusion, because nothing's more real than suffering. There are people in this dream going through chronic pain, and that means, like, it doesn't stop. It just never ends. Like, it's cool if something happens to you and then you feel better after a few days, but if it just never stops. Like, a lot of people haven't experienced that level of pain, so they wouldn't be able to have a need to lift the veil. I love you. Stay dreamlike.